So the scene opens up on a really dank environment. We see like little flickers of light. It's more like reflections off of metallic surfaces, maybe flares of electricity, that sort of thing. And it'll cast long shadows on this stone wall, and the shadows look like these really super tall figures, these long ears and flat heads. And every time we see a shadow fly across the wall or we hear a spark, we also hear the accompaniment of like a guitar string being plucked. As we hear, it's a little off kilter, a little off tune, but then it starts kind of working its way into tune. And the camera pans back a little bit, and we start seeing kind of like rainbow swirled colors burned into the stone wall. A little bit of moisture on the wall as well. And we come back a little bit and we realize we're in a small room. The smell is like kind of like you got a bit of mold, kind of a moldy smell. A little earthy, but at the same time there's a bit of a nice little sewer undertone to the scent.
Oh, delicious.
Oh, yeah. And so as we come back a little bit further, a hand comes into view with long spindly fingers, and at the end of the fingers are these kind of bulbous fingertips that are twisting and turning what look like little bone knobs that made out of knuckle bones, that sort of thing. And as it turns and twists, we hear the tone and pitch of the string that's being plucked change and alter as they're bringing the instrument into tune. And so, like, as we come back further, we realize that the long shadows are actually just cast as this creature plucks away at this little guitar. And the creature that's holding the instrument is actually a small, diminutive, purplish-looking creature with red, beady eyes. What we've come to know as Sparts in the general D&D kingdom, but in the city of Sapphire Harbor, in which we stand, they're known as speed demons. And they start to pluck the string, this creature. We start hearing the opening chords of Metallica's Battery as it's just playing slow, and it's just this nice little comforting thing. But then it starts to have a brooding overtone, and all of a sudden it just stops and it rips into the speed portion of the song. And we come back further into this little room, and there's maybe like 5 or 6 of these parts just kind of playing and jamming back and forth with each other. And then all of a sudden the music stops. And in the distance, echoing across the halls, we hear other music. And then they start kind of speaking back and forth in rapid succession in this high-pitched tongue that we don't quite understand. And like along the bottom, we see, it's a riff challenge. And they all just like grab their guitars, they pull the cords out of the amplifiers that are there, and they just run out of the room. And we follow them along, the camera shaking and moving back and forth, and we're bouncing behind these purple flat heads with with sparse hair and these flapping ears as they're like racing towards them, coming through the tunnels. And we emerge out and we see our group for the first time as they face off with the speed demons of the Rainbow Tunnels. Dun, dun, dun. And I think the last time we left our episode, on quite the hit cliffhanger, I might add, we were at the beginnings of initiative. And already the opening gambit had started. We had a brilliant casting of magic by Vyraxa that caused some hypnotism to occur. And then also some support work that was done by the other cast as they prepared for battle. And there was a whispered warning. Maybe we should just challenge them to a guitar battle. But unfortunately, Skaud's warning was unheard. And now the true battle is joined. So, first off in initiative is Anghyseinedd. Tell us, Anghyseinedd, what is it that you do to lead off this battle?
I think I'm going to pull off one of my favorite hits. I'm going to for a minute. Yeah. looking at my spells. It's been a while. I'm like, what do I need to do?
It's been many moons since last we played.
I know it has.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I know. All right. I'm going to cast. Okay. I need to do a large area of effect. I'm going to do. Let's see. Sorry, excuse me for a moment. Actually,
no worries.
All right, I'm going to do animal crackers again.
All right.
Alrighty.
Let's have it. Animal crackers.
So
Okay.
all the creatures within 60 feet need to make a wisdom save.
Okay. Is that 60 feet of you, or where are you centering this? This
It would be, I think it's 60 feet from me, from what I understand.
Okay.
I have to look at the wording of the spell.
Right, so let's see. Do they need to be within sight? I would assume. And the original spell is.
It's vicious mockery.
Oh, I see it in parentheses there. Yeah, just for our listeners, so they don't, they may not know that we've retitled some of our magical abilities and to stay in line with the wonderfulness of this world. So yeah, all right, let's do it. So I'm gonna start rolling some stuff here. Am I? Is that what's just going to happen?
Oh, and by the way, the animal crackers I'm doing is the cow. There's there's a bunch of different ones. There's one that's called the cow.
Right.
So it's hard to explain. But it's
all right. No need to. Let's do it. Public roll. Here we go. First one. We'll go from right to left. Ooh, he does not make it.
Ooh.
He does not make it. So what does that say? What does that tell me? That tells me that he's going to have 4 points of damage, right?
He's going to take 4 points of psychic damage, and they have disadvantage on their next attack roll.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, that's not going to be necessary for him because he has expired. And he falls over. So what does it look like when they succumb to this animal crackers, this cow? Is it a cow looing type thing?
So it's basically, the piece basically is like a channel of voices singing a really silly, stupid song about a cow, and there's people mooing in the back, and they're just like, it's silly.
It's just absolutely. Would you call it ridiculous?
Absolutely. Ridiculous.
I love it.
So that's what I cast. Animal crackers.
Okay.
Love my animal crackers.
All right. So first one fails. So next one, let's go back to our wisdom saves. Here it comes. Blammo. All right.
Nope.
DC is 15. So this one also suffers -4 psychic damage. So yeah, so this one kind of like he jostles awake from the hypnotic pattern, but unfortunately he awakens to the horribly ear-piercing shriek of the unholy cow song. All right, next one up. We'll go for the holy cow.
So it's not the Indian cow; it's the unholy cow, not the holy cow.
Next
the
up.
poem. I'm sorry. The poem is: the cow is of the bovine ilk. One end is moo, the other milk.
Oh, that's great.
Oh my gosh, that's right up there.
I'm glad you just did. I thought you were going to say one
cow
end is
is of
moo
the
and the other end is
bovine
poo.
One end is moo, the other milk.
So if I save, or no, I didn't save from this one. Never mind. So -4. So this one also is roused from its hypnotic patterned. Whoops! I actually added another one. Where's the? Oh, these stupid dice are in my way. I can't see, so I can remove his inebriations. Blammo. All right, next one up. Here he goes. Man, computer's running slow.
Very
Come on,
wet.
baby. There it is. Oh my goodness! You're seeing the other die roll, right? Where I would have had 2 successes. Well, no, that one wouldn't have succeeded, so that doesn't work. All right, so this one is also roused from its slumber, but unfortunately, awakens to that horrid cow sound. Last one is up. All right. Are you going to be moving at all? Or are
He's
you
gonna be
staying put?
moving.
Are you going to be moving?
Yeah, I'm going to. Yeah, I think I moved 30 feet from what I understand. Yeah,
your
30 feet. Yep,
is-
I can move 30 feet. So I'm gonna move 30 feet. 1, 10, 15, 20. I'll move. Yeah, just 25 feet and stay there.
Got it. All right. Rigo, you are up.
Oh, fun times.
Let's do this.
Alrighty. Let's see what I got here. Let's see, got this bad boy in front. 30 feet.
He's dead.
Is he dead already? Or?
He's dead. Let's remove him from the table. There we are. Oh,
Fun times.
Anghyseinedd revealed. I'm just kidding. All right.
I'm trying to see. I don't really have a lot of ranged options, unfortunately.
You just go peck them.
Yes. I think so. I'll have to check that. Thunder wave. Thunder wave.
Let me see.
What do we got?
No, well, if you're gonna cast that,
Yes. Unfortunately, friends will get hit.
yeah. But I mean, you could just run forward and do them
Yeah.
because
Is it up to?
No time for advice. I'm just kidding.
in that case, I have a spell that will help you do that. I am gonna cast. Here we go.
Jukebox hero.
Stars in his eyes.
Awesome.
I'm gonna cast Jukebox Hero, aka Enhance Ability.
Okay.
I touch a creature and bestow on it a magical enhancement. I'm going to touch Vyraxa. And Charisma is the spellcasting thing for bards, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Then I'm going to go with Eagle Splendor for Vyraxa then.
Okay.
You
have advantage and fantastic.
Yep, as long as I have concentration, you will have advantage on charisma checks.
All right.
Nice.
Okay.
I like it. I like it.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Well done. Okay.
And I'm gonna hop forward a little bit actually.
Hippity
Yeah.
hoppity.
Kind of lope up there.
Rigo's on the way.
Yep.
Yep. Nice, nice. And
Hippity
remember, there's
hoppity.
this, it doesn't cause any like slowing for you really, but there's about a 2-foot wall right in front of you, right where that shadow is right here. So if you needed to like lay flat or something like that, you could always get a little bit of cover from that.
Alrighty.
But just a word to the wise, eh?
In case there's a machine gun in placement.
There's room there for a 30 cal. All right.
Yeah, I just gave a little hop over the wall and scooting toward along the wall.
All right. And then how long does this last? This lasts for up to 1 hour. Nice. So
As
it's
long
a
as I have
concentration.
concentration.
It is a
Fancy.
concentration, so that is something to keep in mind. But let's give a little bit of an aura to our friend. What would be a good one to represent charisma? Would it be passionate red? Would it be superfly gold? Superfly gold it is.
Gold, yeah, gold.
I love gold.
So just for clarification, the boxes on the screen are 5 feet. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure I'm looking at the right things. I'm trying to figure out if I can make this happen. Okay.
Do it. You must.
All right. Next up, Skaud. I don't think we can see auras.
Yeah, I don't think we can. Oh, yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
You don't
I
see
can.
it on.
Okay, well that works.
No.
You're the
I
one,
can
you're
see
the one
it.
who, well, you're the one who needs to know that you have it, so
Right.
that's good.
Right. Okay, that's cool.
That is weird. You won't be able to see it. Well, I and our audience can see these things. Skaud, what is it that you're doing? You sneaky little dwarf.
don't want to hurt my
Are you
friend.
muted?
No, I think Justin might still be muted.
Justin might be muted.
There's Justin.
That is-
Justin is still muted.
Hey.
Hey!
So
Boop-a-da-boppy.
Hey!
funny you should
Okay.
stay Stinky Dwarf because
And you're gonna do stinking cloud. Oh, you
Ah!
monster.
so I'm gonna put it right there.
Okay.
So that's gonna pretty much cover the whole hallway.
That tour bus smell.
Yeah.
Oh,
There
yeah,
you go.
totally is a tour bus.
All right.
Love it.
Yeah.
So, how do I do this? So, so components. Yeah, so I've gotten a rag I leave out in the mosh pit. I throw that down into the tunnel.
Oh
And
my gosh. That is
That's
so
perfect.
cool. Love it. So, ping for me where you want it centered.
let's see. Oops, that's not the right thing. Yeah, so let's put it right. And I can't ping with the ruler. So there. So
Right there.
it's got a 20-foot. So that should hit everybody,
Okay, 20
Yeah.
foot radius.
but not Anghyseinedd.
Yay!
Right.
I live to see another day.
And
Yeah, because this thunder. I'm reading the description that came over for me for Thunder Wave is missing some key points, so I might have to change something here.
key points. It's not a monk. All right, let's advance this. Blammo!
So it's a con save against poison.
Gosh, you are so rude. You come into their house. All right, so con save
yeah.
or be poisoned is the
Yeah, that's what it
is
says.
the result. All right, let's do it. Con saves all
Um,
around. Here we go.
okay.
Starting right to left.
Looks like my spell save DC is 20. 15.
Yeah, that's not right. 15. I'm all 23. Yeah, right. That is a fail. So he is poisoned. He has the poison condition. So I'll put a little skull and crossbones.
I don't know what that means, but
Poison. We'll you know what? Go to the information. Somebody can go to the information icon on the top
ooh,
right.
and type
Yeah, what's your
poison.
Poison. The poison condition means.
I'm already here, so I was looking up something else.
Do it. Do it. All right, next one up.
Poison.
Here it comes. Oh, these area of
Poison
effect spells are
spray.
killing me. Poison condition. Now, does this cause damage or no? It's just the poison condition, right?
It's
Yeah, they're
a-
just coughing
poison.
and they get disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks.
Got it. That's
Yay.
awesome. That's power. All right, that's another. Yours of 14, you said?
15.
15. My goodness. This is a rancid thing that you've done. These poor creatures. Who all they're trying to do is live their lives and play guitar super fast.
Hey, they wanted a challenge. They got a challenge.
Well,
Which
that,
is-
that was my idea, but I'm just trying to mitigate the problem here.
You're right. Okay, so yeah, so this stinking cloud blooms up after. So Skaud, what does it look like when you're casting it? You had this rag, right, that you just hurl across the hall and it flies.
It's got this
with-
green trail.
Yeah.
It lands and it hits right in a puddle, and the whole puddle starts to bubble up. And as the bubbles pop, this gas starts.
Ooh, joyful.
Yeah, it's like the bubbles come out and then it just belches this gas upwards.
Yeah, and it sounds just like the movie Labyrinth.
Oh,
Bog.
the Bog of Eternal Stench.
Yes.
Wow.
Favorite movie ever.
You
Favorite movie
disgust
ever.
me, sir. All right, that
Oh,
was
I
pretty
love
good.
that show.
That was pretty good. So these guys are all under the effects of the stink cloud. And so they now have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks. Thanks, Justin, for posting that into the chat. Are you moving, my friend Skaud? Are you going to be moving yourself?
I did.
You did. You already moved. That's good.
Yeah, that way I could see what was up the way a bit. I think there's a thing back there. So I tell people, I think there's another guy back there.
That's not the same.
Oh, hey, that is another guy back there. That's for
He's got
sure.
a different
Oh.
icon than everyone else, so
He
be
does.
careful.
Makes him different. All right,
Somebody's different.
Vyraxa.
Alrighty.
Vyraxa. The
I
tubular bells.
would like to. So I'm going to cast. Hang on a second. I always clicked on the right button. I'm going to
Dun, dun,
cast.
dun, 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 dun.
Where'd it go?
Dun, dun,
How do I click it?
dun, 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 dun,
Did
dun.
it go? Why am I not clicking? Oh, maybe
Click
I
it.
didn't click on me. Oh, there we are.
Click,
Cast
click,
at level
Pop it.
2. Cast at level.
Click
Wait,
it.
we're level. What level are we?
We're level 5.
5.
Level
Correct.
5.
Okay, so I'm gonna. It's telling me what I can. I guess I can choose what level to cast it at. Oh no, that's level. This is a spell. Level 2
Spell level
spell.
is different.
Yep,
Yeah,
there we go.
spell.
Okay,
spell
there we
level's
go.
different. So you can
Spell
cast a level 3 spell if you choose.
Okay, well then in that case I would. I just did a 2, but I wanted to cast. I want to go higher. So hang on, let me correct that. Okay, hang on. We're casting Shatter at 3. There we go. Okay, I have advantage on the roll.
Wait a sec.
No,
Why
wait, no,
didn't
that's
you actually roll it?
Well, so I did roll it, but that it told me to at which to cast it at level 2, or I chose level 2 instead of level 3 apparently.
Got it.
So if I can cast it at 3, I'd like to cast it at 3. But why is it saying thunder at the? What? Now
Well,
I'm
it's
so
the type
confused.
of damage, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
Okay.
Shatter
So
does
it's not-
thunder damage.
Yeah.
Thank you. I got myself confused with Thunder Wave. Okay, so
Right.
what
Shatter's
I'm
different.
doing is then I can choose a point that's within range. So 60 feet is the range. So I can go over to here,
So he's already gotten
and I can
disadvantage.
cast to right here,
All right.
and
what's
then
the,
what it does.
what's the
A
radius?
sudden loud ringing noise, painfully intense, erupts from the point of choice within the range. Each creature in a 10-foot radius sphere centered on that point must make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, fun.
So then I can tell you what happens if you don't do that.
So ping
Also-
me, ping me where you're centering this.
Is that with disadvantage?
Right there. Okay. so starting from
Let's
there.
see. It says
No, ability
No,
check
it
is
doesn't say.
10.
From what I understand,
All
an
right.
ability check is different than a saving throw.
Okay.
I'll cut and paste real quick just so you.
Ammo. Dice ability
Well,
checks. Yeah, ability checks are like your skills, and then attack rolls are your regular rolls. But if this is a Constitution save, they haven't been doing quite well on those.
Yeah, it's a Constitution
So-
save.
What's my target number?
What is your target?
14?
Let me see.
14. Her DC is 14.
All right, here we go. That is a fail.
Does that but the charisma doesn't affect the DC, correct? The charisma
No.
buff. Okay.
No,
Just
that's
making
for
sure.
saves. It's for charisma.
Oh,
That's
dang.
for save.
Checking.
Yep, yep.
So it
That's
should
okay.
have been. It might have been a different idea to do a different enhanced ability.
Right.
That's okay. It's all good.
But it's life.
Oh, well.
It's fine. It's fine.
So your damage on this is 3d8, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was only 2d8. This one is 3d8. So I'm going to go with the 14 being your damage.
In my defense, it's been a while since I've actually
Oh, no,
gotten to sit behind a character.
That's
I'm just
fine.
looking at these guys. And yeah, so tell me how you kill all of them.
Yay!
So this is
As I rest my DM head in my DM hand.
so I think she gets so
Didn't even get a
excited that she
turn.
casts this and does some crazy Xeno warrior yell.
Right.
And
Yes.
it's so horrible and off key that it just blasts them all out with this horrible sound.
That's
I
perfect.
am,
I love
Yeah.
it.
That's how that happens.
Really impressed. So is it like a...
And then
so
she'll
what's
trot up here somewhere. Well, not quite that far, but somewhere around here. Where's my 30? Somewhere
All
around
right,
here.
all right.
Head explode, indeed. I
Head
will.
explode,
I will.
indeed.
I will. I
Whoa,
will.
That's impressive. That is
Oh,
impressive.
Ready.
I
Yay!
will.
Nice.
I will.
Nice.
I will.
It's
I will.
magic, it's great.
I will revive one of my running jokes from the occasionals. Chunky salsa.
That's right. So yeah, so these guys are they're dead. They are dead.
They're very dead.
Yay.
So what do you do with the stink cloud? I guess you're gonna
Can you do anything with the stink cloud?
Can I? I
you can
believe I
dispel it.
can dispel it. Yeah. So
Okay.
I get some Febreze.
Unlike the Bog of Eternal Stink, it actually
The,
can't come off.
the fantasy Febreze you bought from Fantasy Costco.
Right.
Mhm.
So yeah, so okay, so
That
you
happened.
dispel that. That just happened.
It sure did.
So what do you do? So so right now there is there's a sound that's coming from up ahead, and I think right now, I think by the time Vyraxa, you can kind of see them. See the guy at the end there.
Anghyseinedd can see it too.
Anghyseinedd you can also see as well.
Yes, I can also see it as well.
Go it. All right.
Ooh, there's
so,
something there.
all right. So yeah. So now you see a creature that's
I
up
see
there
that.
on that bridge up ahead. So the place that you're in is kind of like this little tunnel, like this, or the bottom part of like an outflow. It has a little bit of a curve to it, right, that leads up to the ledges on either side. But up ahead you see a bridge, a stone bridge that kind of goes over this way. And yeah, there is.
Is it over troubled waters?
No, because there's no waters, but it is over a troubled
stinky
stink.
sludge.
It's over a troubled stink. And yeah, as you're walking through, there is a bit of a sludge to
I will
this,
hold my nose.
but to soften, yeah,
God,
to
you guys are
soften the
awesome.
to soften the blow is the
Trouble. What?
Well,
to
the
soften the blow. It is a bit rainbow colored, so you're not
The-
sure if the browns are really brown or.
Oh, lovely.
well,
So what happens when you mix colors?
or
well, the stink cloud has dispersed, so for Skaud, his fart will go on.
Beautiful, beautiful, love it.
Aww.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty
Hey.
cool. Hey,
Hey.
put 'em up, yeah.
Hey.
All right. So, what do you do? There's a creature that's standing on top of this bridge, and he's standing there right now with he's got a guitar kind of slung low, but it's like it's over and away from him. It's kind of like dangling from his hip, and he's got his spindly arms that are crossed in front of him. And yeah, he's chillaxing there, and he's nodding like with appreciation, really, of like what just happened.
So I'm gonna walk up and say, wee bit of a misunderstanding.
That's what you call it.
That's what you call it?
If that's what you call a misunderstanding, I'd like to say what you see about a fight. What are you all here for, anyway?
Well, we're looking for
What's his name?
Looking for some
Crim.
Crim.
Sokin. He's been missing, and I've visited him down here before, and we're just looking for some answer some questions, see if we can find him.
Oh, hey, you're looking for the heifer, eh? Well, he's been around the parts for a while, but he ain't been here for a couple of days. Now, if you don't mind, stop trudging through my mates there. Or maybe ask you to leave. Not cause any more trouble.
Yeah, well, like I said, misunderstanding. I told my mates here that I think it's changed my accent.
Are you trying to mock my accent? That's what you're trying to do, because you're not earning any points. That's a negative to diplomacy, you know.
Oh, that's great.
I told them not that we just need to play the music, but they got a little carried away, started flinging spells around.
Oh, gotta excuse the motorcycle in the background. They're just doing laps around the tunnel. But let's get back to the focus at hand. You done killed all me mates. And tis a fair argument. You know, you had the jump on them, and they should have played faster. That's all there is to it. That's okay. I get more where they come from. They breed like rabbits, you know.
Well,
Well, yeah, you know where Crim might be.
He ain't been down here for a while. He had some papers drawn up with him and his friends. You know, the other one, the snarly tooth one. And
Elation?
yeah, that's the one. Likes to start fires, he does. But you know, I don't really like fighters down here, not with the boss and all his contracts. That's not what he wants.
And the flammable gases.
Away, you don't want any of that down here. But we keep that nice and well pumped out of the library, that's what we do. Now, look, you'll have some talent, that's for sure. You wouldn't be interested in a little bit of You know, a little wager. Maybe after you're done finding your creme, huh? I could use people like you. I'm sure Slash wouldn't mind putting you under contract, unless, of course, you're already under contract, and in which case, he may try to negotiate your way out of it.
Well, after we figure out what's going on with all these, with our finding our friends, then I'll come see you.
Oh, that's good. All right. Well, all right. Anything else you need? You ain't want to be talking to the boss, do ya?
Not today,
Yeah. All right.
unless any of you have questions for the boss.
Unless the boss knows where our missing friend is, then no.
Well, you never know what Slash knows. He only keeps it to himself, and he puts it in them contracts, that's for sure. No, I mean, you know, if Krem's done skipping out of town, you know, he did just sign a contract, like I said, so, you know, if he's skipping out, then, you know, maybe the boss may want to hire you out for a bit of a bounty. If you're going to find him anyway, you could always bring him back and to honor the contract. Because he ain't done with his work around here, you know.
Did anyone else sign a contract recently? Perhaps Althera?
Oh.
Oh, the pale one. Yeah, likes to talk with the deads. That's one of them, aye. Them, Elation, and Cream. Yeah, they all signed a contract with Slash.
Oh, interesting. Maybe we should go talk to him.
But I have to tell you, he's, you know, he's going to want to do some kind of fair trade. It ain't going to be some, you know, free for nothing type thing, you know. Especially since you gone down and, you know, squished some of his speed demons.
Yeah.
For the
Fair.
record, they weren't squished, but you know, that's a minor point.
And then the camera zooms down and like you see like there's just puddles of purple and blue blood and like kind of all like over the place. And then it just comes back to this guy's face and he's like, all right, sure, not squished. So you'll be seeing him or not? Because I got to make an announcement, that sort of thing. It takes a bit of time.
Yeah, I think
we probably should, after all that.
All right,
But I'll let someone.
some
for the
threads have
record,
wound together.
I'll let someone else do the talking.
That's probably a good idea.
I got my finger on my nose, my beak in the not it.
Yeah, that's right. Perfect. All right, so what you be calling yourselves? You got a group name, band, that sort of thing?
Did we have a band name?
We did. What was our
We
name?
did.
We had an awesome
what
name.
was
I
our
forgot what
name?
it was.
What was her name? One moment. Wait, we had a thing. Where was it?
We
Yeah,
flashed
really
back
cool
to
thing.
like a tavern where you guys are all sitting around a table arguing about names. You know, there has to be fire in it. No, there doesn't. There doesn't have to be fire in it. And then
have
in
no
the
idea
background,
what
all
the
you
heck
hear
is
is you hear
it?
Rigo going. He's getting super upset.
Where is it? Do-do-do.
All I know is that there's a line that says featuring Vyraxa. Yeah, I forgot my own last name. But anyway, featuring Vyraxa. That's all I remember.
I'm pulling it.
Vyraxa the Carpathian.
That's right.
It's Vyraxa.
At the rate she's going, it sounds like a good name.
No.
think
Oh,
it
here
had
we go.
something with peace
Here's
in
what it is. Here it is.
Okay.
I think it was either Peace Treaty or Circles and Crying Magenta featuring Vyraxa Gorilla.
Oh, I think it was Peace Treaty.
Yeah, I think we should. All right, Peace Treaty.
Yep.
Peace Treaty.
Peace Treaty.
Yeah, you
Kinda
know, he may
ironic,
like
ain't
it. Treaties are on paper. They're kind of like contracts. He may dig it. That's fine. All right. Go under the bridge below me. I'll go make an announcement. And he makes his way off of the bridge and heads over in this direction here. So yeah, he stands over by a pole and kind of like he pulls a lever, and you can kind of see it faintly in the darkness there, and it looks like it's some kind of like tube or something that's been brought down. It's made of brass and has like little wheel cogs and stuff that kind of like allows it to kind of bend downward. And in front of you, you see descending in front of you into the darkness is like this kind of bowl, a big, vast, like almost like an arena-sized bowl that's going downward. It probably descends maybe into the darkness. So far, what you can see, it descends like every 5 feet. It descends about maybe 1 or 2 feet. So it's not a very steep slope, but a little bit of a slope there. And so he opens up the mic, and well, it's basically a microphone. I just let the cat out of the bag, and he goes, announcing into the central corridor to me, /Marshall Chef. Don't call them 5 strings. Don't call them anything else. But if you want to make a contract, you call them because you want to lock it in. Now introducing Peace Treaty. Asking for an audience in front of the /Marshall Lamstock. Thank you so much and have a good night. And then he puts the mic back, and you hear the ringing kind of go throughout the bowl, and then he slams it home. And as he does so, in the center of this bowl area, there is a hang on, if I can make the effect happen. Okay, there is a light that bursts into existence, alighting the arena area, and then he stands over on the edge, and he looks over at the group of you, and let me bring him back over so you guys have him there in sight.
I tried to zoom in or zoom out. Now I can't find you on the screen.
So he comes back over and he says,
"Oh, there we
"You
go.
may go." All right, you may go inside. Just go towards the light. Yeah, that's right. Just follow the light.
That's never ended badly ever.
I was gonna say that's what the moth does. That's not a smart choice.
So the light illuminates ahead of you. It's this basically this big brazier that bursts out upwards in flame, and ever so often like little streaks of like pyrotechnics kind of arc outward, almost like a what do you call it? Not that comes from the sun. The
Corona,
not the corona, but the solar flare. Flare. There you go. Solar flare kind of arcs outward and then loops back in on the fire. And
It's
ahead of
very
you,
shiny.
you see a group of Svervelin. I call them Smurfzeppelins in the other game, but we'll go with undergnomes. There's a trio of them. Basically, they're a little bit burlier than most that you've seen, and behind them you see an even larger one that has a beautiful sunburst guitar strapped across his back, and then crossing that is an axe. And he wears this huge top hat that is half again as big as his head, going upwards into the domed arena that's here. And he stands upon this large stone plinth that, or not really an altar, but like a platform or a stage maybe, that he stands on, and he looks down at the rest of you, and he says, he pulls a cigar from his mouth. So, what do y'all reckon that you're here for? You come into my home, put a little blood on the stone, and now you want to ask me some questions?
that we do.
Indeed.
We hear that Elysian, Palthera, and Krim took a contract, and now they've gone missing.
Oh, that's what you hear, huh? Well, you know,
What I hear.
as part of the honor of having a contract with me, I don't go spilling my guts about said contracts.
Well, you might not be able to tell us the job, but these people got things to do, and there are other contracts to keep, and right now, nowhere to be found. We just want to let people know where they are. They skipped town, they dead. What's going on? Even if you can't tell us what they're doing.
So give me a diplomacy check on this.
Right.
Let's get this going.
What kind of check is that?
Oh shoot, I forgot. Hang on, sorry, I was in Pathfinder mode.
Whoopsie!
Whoopsie-daisy. The people at home
Performance,
could see me
maybe?
like going through
Persuasion check.
there. Yeah, persuasion, that's the one.
Diplomacy has failed.
Diplomacy's failed. Sure.
Whoa!
Oh,
okay.
I just tabbed out of Roll20, and as soon as I did, I just heard ah. Ooh, that's a good roll.
Where'd he go? All right. So yeah, that's pretty solid. Pretty solid. So
I would say so.
yeah. So I mean, okay. So he looks down at you and he takes a puff of his stogie and pulls it away. All right. Favor for a favor. How about that? You want to know a little bit of information about Krem and his cohorts? I want to have him honor his contract. Make sure he shows up. It's been a couple days. So
Sounds fair.
yeah, doesn't it? But in return, I want something from you. You say you're peace treaty, eh?
That's the band. That's goal is to play a song so good that people stop fighting. Not the song we just played back there.
Because we had to stop fighting first.
That's true. Well, I may have need of information you can provide. I want to know a little something about your manager. And maybe at some point I may come to you and ask these questions, and you will give me the information I want. Just one question I'll ask. That's it. Or, if I was to be fair, maybe 3 questions. 3 missing, 3 questions. That sounds fair. What do you say you...
2.5 questions. No, just kidding.
I feel like I'm gonna come up with give an offer we can refuse.
And all around the arena, you hear like this like cackling, like high pitched laughter, and like all around you, you see little beady red eyes in the darkness just surrounding this amphitheater.
It's not creepy at all.
That's,
Not even remotely.
That's
It's just
good.
totally normal.
I like that. All right, agreed. 2.5 questions because you asked me. He thinks on it a moment, and he looks over at the rest of you and says, "So you want to know where they are? I may have an idea of that, but I think I'd like for you to... No, I'll wait for my questions. I won't ask right now. But I will ask that you keep our agreement a secret from your manager."
Agreed.
I do the my lips are sealed gesture.
Nice.
It's funny because she doesn't have lips.
I would like to get a little insight into... I want to get a little insight and see if he's actually being truthful or not.
Okay.
I would like to roll an insight check. And what I will do with insight is I actually use pitch to get insight in a sense. So
Okay.
I listen for his pitch. So I'm going to roll for insight.
Okay. All right.
Do-do-do-do.
Let's see. Okay.
Rolling now.
Here we are. Let's have it.
Hey, nice.
Okay. So what does this look like when Anghyseinedd is making this investigation happen? My pitch is my tuning fork is magic. Mm-hmm.
So I basically listen to the pitch and I bang this and I match the pitch to what he's resonating. And
Okay.
I take a listen to it in my ear.
Okay. All right. So you're kind of doing this, and he like looks over at you, but he kind of lets it go. He doesn't really say much about it, but in that gesture, So you're trying to delve a little bit into what he might be motivated by.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he looks to be a person of leverage. There's a saying that you've probably heard about / Marshall Amstec, and that is everything echoes down here. That's a popular phrase in these parts. And basically, he traffics in information, and he also traffics in leverage. So most likely, he wants to ensure his leverage with this trio of Krim, Elysian, and
the Pale one.
And he wants to acquire leverage over your employer, Lincoln Merrywater. So he's ruthless. And he rather than force, he uses information as a weapon.
And a powerful weapon it is.
No lie. All right, so
Of course, he's College of Whispers.
that's probably yeah. So he looks at you guys and he's kind of like taking the measure of the situation here. And all right, so I guess I can't collect on a contract if I don't actually have anybody to collect from. And as you can see, and he raises a hand upwards a little bit, and the light of that central pyre kind of expands outward, and some of the solar flare type gestures from the light start to come out and actually stays in place. And all along the roof, you see scaffolding that's been hung down, and it's combinations of brass pipe, wood, that sort of thing. But all along this place is basically like speakers. Kind of when you think of like the old record players, the crank record players, and have that big cornucopia type of flange of the speaker. They're all over the place here. And he kind of like raises a hand, and then he lowers his hand a bit, and the fire kind of dies down again, and it descends into shadows. And in the midst of this, you see along the ledge, there's probably anywhere from 30 to 40 speed demons all around this place, just kind of surrounding the amphitheater. But as the light dims back down, they go back to being just the red eyes glowing in the darkness. Cancel the trap. No, and so he says, I intended to have the best sound system in all of Sapphire Harbor, but I need that Krim to finish it. So in exchange for him doing this work, I got him a contract. Contract aboard the Laughing Cleric for this evening at midnight.
Wait, do we know what the Laughing Cleric is?
So somebody give me a knowledge. What do we got? We got history checks. We got all sorts of madness available.
Okay, let's see here.
I
have history.
You got history. You've got...
It's a pretty darn good history check, too.
Yeah.
Good. That is pretty good. So the Laughing Cleric is actually one of the oldest riverboats out here in Sapphire Harbor that travels the River Destin. It's smaller than most. It only has 3 levels. And again, when you're picturing these riverboats, you kind of think of the ones that travel the Mississippi and that sort of thing. Big paddles, that a lot of steam, locomotion, and power that's been fed into this, along with elemental magics that keep the things moving. But it's not so much the size for which this ship is requested, but it's the acoustics and the pedigree of this thing. It is rumored that it is one of the first boats to ever be built on the river for the purpose of entertainment, and was originally built by Elvish carpenters. So
Elvish
this
Presley?
dates, Elvish Presley carpenters. Perfect.
Wow.
Take inspiration if you already have it. No,
Well,
you all have inspiration.
Ain't nothing but a
I
hound
do.
dog.
I do.
I know but a hound dog. So,
Fantastic.
yeah, so this boat's been around for a long time, upwards of 800 years or more. So that is what you know. And the idea that there's a contract specifically for this boat is kind of lends a bit of credibility here as far as his pull in the city to be able to acquire this. And also means how important it is that these three live up to this contract with him, because otherwise he's out quite a bit.
So did he say the contract was for all of them, or did he just say it was for
Prim.
the...
If it was just for Prim.
Well, if you want to ask the question.
I can. Well, no, actually, no, I'm not. I'm letting someone else talk. I have learned my lesson, for at least for right now.
Are all three playing aboard the Laughing Cleric tonight?
Well, that's my understanding. 3 to perform on the stage: guitarist, instrumentalist, and singer. Although, it's an exclusive contract for tonight. I would have thought that if they really wanted to shine on the city, being with the festival and all, that they'd want to have for a couple of nights, draw on a crowd first night and then bring them in the next night and really blow the roof off that boat. Figuratively, of course. I got too many markers out to have any kind of level of destruction happen on that vessel. But, yeah, that's what they wanted. That's what they got. And then I get these wonderful acoustics and speakers in my beautiful rainbow tunnels.
Sounds like a good deal. So where might they be if they haven't been around for several days? Would anyone want to prevent them from playing on the boat?
I don't know.
Maybe you have an enemy who's trying to make you look bad.
I'd like to see him try. But you raise a good and an interesting question there, dwarf. You raise an interesting question. Why wouldn't they show up over the last couple of days? I don't know. Maybe you guys can find out for me.
I guess we could check the boat, see if they've showed up there.
One thing I do know, that Pale had a bunch of books with her. Did a lot of reading while Krim worked. She said she wanted someplace quiet to read. Yeah, it was entertaining for the boys. But, I don't know. I honestly don't care. She was part of the contract. She needs to live up to it. Speaking of contracts, I have a need for you all to sign one of mine. And I think, at that moment, behind you, the Svart that had announced you just kind of is there, behind you, and
he giant has scroll written in blood.
Yeah, he actually has a scroll, and he has this podium that floats in front of him, and you see little magical smoke and stuff coming from the bottom and everything as it floats in front of him, and
oh my gosh,
yeah, and he has an inkwell and a pen, and is ready for signatures.
Are any of you guys Supernatural fans?
Not really.
Okay, well, so that seasons. It would just I'm visualizing the Crossroads demons with their big giant scroll of all the things that you're going to sign away your life for. It's hilarious. It fits very well.
That's right. Well, if there ain't going to be no business, I'll be interested in getting a signature from y'all and have you all be on your way.
I'll sign up top.
Is there any funny business with this?
What are we signing specifically? I want to read this thing first.
Yeah.
We're reading. We're going to read this.
All right. So the contract basically reads, we, the undersigned, in given of information and provision of places for our feet to go. And you can almost you can actually see as you're reading it, if somebody looks up and sees Slash's face, he's actually mouthing the words as you read it. And and it's basically just a contract that says, you've been given something to which you owe a responsible remuneration. Such remuneration will come in the form of questions amounting to 2 equal parts with 1 half part added in for good measure. So the first question shall have and not exceed or diminish the value of the first, with the third question equating to a value in either gold, jewel, or effort to half of the first or second. We the undersigned will relinquish any benefits from the information provided, and will know to have a bounty upon their heads should they not return said questions with answers.
Interesting. Okay then.
But so peace treaty, but something. Sign it.
Yeah,
There's no secret small print. No.
I'm just
I'm
checking.
wondering-
Should I roll like a perception or something and see if there's anything going on here? Or I don't know. Just making sure before I sign my life away.
Sure.
I'm investigating.
Oh yeah, there you go. An investigation check. That's a
Okay.
good one. 16. All right, for Rigo.
I'm getting my little
All right.
I don't have
I'm getting my little Kenku claws on this before I sign it.
Yeah. So you look at it, and down at the bottom, there's like these odd little symbols and such.
Oh, fun.
And the symbols. What languages do you speak?
I speak Common and I speak Common and Orin, but whatever this language is, I heard it through the
Oh,
grapevine.
that's awesome.
Nice. Very good.
That's
very good.
awesome.
So it's written in Undercommon. So the dark speech of the dark lands that dwell further and further deep below the city of Sapphire Harbor and near the world. And the language there basically says that, and in your head, in your Kinku brain, as you're reading it, you hear that kind of slip-slidey form of the language of Undercommon as it just kind of rumbles through your head. And it's basically like kind of in fast forward, the disclaimers at the bottom. Representation of this, just like going really super fast. But in essence, if there's one part that stands out to you, and that is upon breakage of contract, the breaker will provide the breakee 1 year and a day of indentured servitude to be carried out in the location of the breakee's choosing.
Are you pointing that out to the rest of us?
Yeah, I'm pointing that out.
Okay. Interesting.
And almost as in response to all of you kind of wrapped around and looking at this contract, Slash basically he's like, contract ain't worth signing if it ain't binding.
All right, I'm in. I'm in. In part, though, to be honest, which I'm not saying this out loud, I'm in part because I don't intend to be in this town forever, so I'm signing off.
So all right, so cool. So does everybody sign?
I already signed it. Then they found all this extra stuff.
He's like,
he's like, it's not even a signature as much as an autograph. And like, do you like leave a drawing of your guitar behind, like a little simple drawing of it?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
How about Anghyseinedd?
I mean, it's right in your name. I'm gonna sign it.
Anghyseinedd isn't gonna sign it.
He ain't gonna sign it.
So the thing is that Anghyseinedd, during his upbringing, he actually was surrounded by many gnomes, who were reliable gnomes. So I've known gnomes to be. There's no word that goes with that. Reliable. So I actually kind of asked. I basically I would probably say in Gnomish to Slash. Obviously he's a gnome, so he understands. No. I hope you don't let down the gnomes that I've known my entire life.
Yeah. He chuckles a bit. Elven blood looking out for the gnomes. That is Quite the thing. Quite the thing.
In Gnomish, I say, I'm no ordinary elf. Nor am I actually an elf entirely.
All right. No, of course. That's the whole reason behind the contracts. It's in my blood. Any contract, like I said, worth doing is worth doing well. And, of course, well, I fancy myself the king of contracts in this city. In fact, if you go to the historical library, you'll find a few of my original drafts being used by the city fathers. So yeah, I think I've done myself pretty well when it comes to binding agreements.
I signed the contract.
Well done, it is sealed. And as soon as he says that, the scroll rolls up by itself and disappears.
Oh, I didn't mention, but I totally signed it with my own feathers.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool. So all of you feel kind of like a tickle on the palm of your left hand. And as you look down, you see like basically and it's small, but it's noticeable when you look at it kind of close. But in the palm of your hand, there is now a little tattoo of a top hat, and it has crossed roses behind it, and a crossbow that's like kind of like like upwards like this, with the roses like this, and then the hat in the middle.
Ooh, so now we can re-enter the sewer at any time with no recharge of admission.
You make a good point there, dwarf. You make a good point. That will get you back in anytime.
Maybe not back out again, but back in.
Anytime.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Gnomish. Oh, sorry. Gnomish without much trouble.
Of course not. Wouldn't want you splattering any more of the players anyway. Well, very well. A good evening to all of you. And he tips his hat, and the light starts to kind of fade on the big brazier as the Svart that's behind you that had the contract. All right, let's have all y'all go out the way you came. No lucky lures and stuff like that. You don't want you wandering around getting lost or squishing any more of my friends. Let's go. So he leads you out, and unless there's any other business, we exit the tunnels.
Yep, heading out.
So the tunnels are left behind for the moment, and we see like the sky above. You know, the scene kind of diagonal wipes, and we don't see the cast anymore for the moment, and we're looking out onto the horizon from the top of a building. It's kind of a ramshackle looking structure. But we can see from this little advantage point, we can see the River Destin, and we see the lights and stuff that are kind of bathing the river, creating almost like basically like a procession or a parade of boats and stuff that you can see the outlines of from the bright lights. And there's a couple of children, human children, and they're sitting on the roof, and they're just kind of watching with interest and happiness as the lights grow brighter. And in the distance, you hear the echoing kind of asynchronous beats and stuff that are going on, and the music that's kind of like echoing out from the river. And they look to each other, and they look down at one of them. I guess there's a brother and sister, and the brother is holding a poster of some kind, and the sister like reaches over and grabs it, and they have a little brief tug of war, and then the sister wrests it from her little brother and looks down at it, and the camera sees it, and it says it's basically announcing the beginning of the Festival of Arias, and how at the stroke of midnight the competition begins. So all eyes and all ears will be upon the river. And that's where we'll end our episode for the evening for this particular session. We're actually in session 3.1, and then there'll be a 3.2 to bring the rousing conclusion in the hopes of uncovering this mystery. But first, I want to say thanks to everybody around here. We got Jeff, we got Justin, we got the wonderful Heather, we got the wonderful Alyssa. And I am so in debt to the creativity of these folks and how much fun they're providing me. And I've often said that RPGs and stuff are kind of a method of therapy for myself, and I gotta admit it helps a lot to be able to be creative and to be with friends and just to enjoy the company for real. But we've played this tune before. If you want to know more about the Invictus, or I'm sorry, edit. If you want to know more about InnRoads and what we do here, check the show notes. InnRoadsMinistries.com is our website. You can check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/GameStoreProfits. I am your Dungeon Master, Jeff Romo. Try to remember my name, baby. Gotta remember my name. I'm trying to. Which nom de guerre should I use? I do not know. Doesn't matter. Get together, play some games, get around a table, have some fun, be yourself, be somebody else in these RPGs. But the idea is just having friends to look at and have fun and laugh with. So get your own game, have some fun. We will see you on the flip side.